Hello everybody, Jason Napalm here. So I thought I'd do a video about video games. I'm a gamer myself, I play video games. But when I've been looking at the different games that people play, such as Grand Theft Auto, Cyberpunk, Elden Ring, and Call of Duty, and so forth, they can have similar game ratings and age ratings, such as 18. But there is a big difference in each game in what they're portraying and the level of violence, the level of bad language, and any sexual content in them. And I think that every video game should be assessed by a psychologist. And as myself into psychotherapy, psychology, and neuroscience, neuropsychology, and so forth, I've seen that there is a need for video games to be assessed by psychologists before they're released. So, say for example, with a game like Cyberpunk, before it's released and has that little message on the back saying contains violence, sexual scenes, and fear and stuff like that. And then a little message pops up just before you start playing the game on the title screen, and then it may say, warning epilepsy, flashing lights, etc. But what the psychologist can do is can look deeper than saying, well, this game's an 18 rated, so therefore if you're 18 it's fine. And that's what typically a person would do regarding games like Cyberpunk. They'd think, well, it's an 18 rated, it's rated the same as Call of Duty, so it's no different. But it totally is, because in a game such as Cyberpunk, which I've played myself, so I know from experience what it's like, there can be certain psychological triggers from the game. We're all aware of things like subliminal messages and so forth, and subliminal messages only really work on those who want to believe those things that the message is giving, and want to partake or participate in the action that these video games are encouraging you to get into. Okay, so that's why you get so many people, even teenagers, would play video games like Call of Duty, even games like Cyberpunk and Grand Theft Auto, but they won't want to go out and practice these things. They don't want to actually go out shooting people, robbing banks, and doing all the forms of criminality that you find in these games. Instead, to them, it's just letting off some steam, and it's just like, I wouldn't seriously go around shooting people or robbing banks and stuff. So it's all a fantasy thing. Whereas some people playing these video games, they could be psychologically compromised and have psychological imbalances, neurological imbalances that would make them prone to carrying out such actions. So a violent person who's got psychopathic tendencies could play a game like Grand Theft Auto or Cyberpunk, and they would want to carry these out. And so what happens then is that when somebody kills someone, when a teenager stabs someone or shoots someone or commits some kind of crime, and then it's found out that they've been playing video games, the video games get the blame automatically. But it's not a video game in itself, but it's more of the mental condition of the person, the psychological condition of the person who's playing the game. I think that this is what I believe should happen. Video games should be checked by and assessed by psychologists, and they should be assessed, and it should be mentioned in the video game, such as when you first load the game up and you've got warnings for epilepsy in that area, or on one of them pages as it was, and even on the back of the box there should be warnings, and it should say, this game contains violence, this game contains sexual images and so forth, this game contains gambling and drug addiction. Okay, then it should have a warning saying, people who are prone to violence, pornography, addictions to pornography, addictions to drugs, addictions to gambling, should be warned that this game does contain these images and contain this content. And then in that way, instead of just going out buying a game for your friend or for your brother or whoever, or even your boyfriend or girlfriend, and you just sort of think, well, it's an 18, Cyberpunk is no different from Call of Duty. So it's an 18, that's fine, I'll just buy it for my boyfriend. But then you know that your boyfriend has these tendencies. He may be a drug addict, he may have a pornography addiction and violent tendencies. By you buying him that game, that's going to trigger him. Okay, it's going to, when he plays that game, it's going to feed that desire to carry out these things. So I believe, and I think that it should be pushed that all video games should have a psychological assessment and a much more thorough look into these things. Because playing Call of Duty, you're playing as a soldier, it's in a war situation, that is different from playing a game such as Grand Theft Auto, when you're going around just shooting people for the fun of it and for ill gain, such as, getting money and doing drug deals and stuff like that. Okay, and then again in Cyberpunk you'll be doing jobs for different clients, and you will be you can choose, in all fairness, in Cyberpunk to not even kill anyone. You can choose to just like incapacitate people, like just knock them out, just get them to chokehold and then they pass out. And I believe some people have actually played the game Cyberpunk and haven't actually killed anyone or submitted themselves to the pornographic opportunities in the game and so forth. That is one of them games that you can really sort of choose to be as stable mentally as you want, or be as a complete psychopath. So that's my view as a psychotherapist and one who's into neuropsychology, that these effects, when you're playing these games, I'm just going to say to you now, if you play these games and you find them triggering you, if they've got, especially the big ones like pornography and violence, okay, if you find that you're playing the game and it makes you want to act these things out, don't do it. Okay, throw the game away, get rid of it, take it back to the shop or whatever. If you've got addictions with drugs, if you've got addictions with gambling, even games that are pay to win, basically, where you just keep buying and buying things for your game, new costumes for your character, new skins, etc. That's a form of gambling and addiction where you're spending money that you can't afford to spend. So I would warn you, as a fellow gamer, if you're addicted to any of these things, addicted to violence, pornography, drugs, gambling, and any of these games contain that, then don't do it. Get a different game, okay? Elden Ring, there's no drug use, there's no pornography, there's no gambling. It's just straightforward. It is violent, yeah, but it's very fantasy violence, kind of thing. That would be a better option to get than if you had all these other problems and you decided to get Cyberpunk or Grand Theft Auto. And if you really want to play it safe, then just buy Mario games. Okay, so tell me what you think. What do you think? Do you think that video games should be psychologically assessed? Do you think they should have more warnings for parents and for people who are buying these games to be not just an age rating, but actually have a psychological warning on mental health warning, even on these games, so that when people buy these games, they know exactly what to get into. And I know some people may say, well, when a game's reviewed, it will say this contains this contains that. Yeah, it does. But these game reviewers are not psychologists, and they are not telling you they're not warning you not to play these games. They're simply telling you whether it's a good game or a rubbish game. They're not telling you, oh, well, if you're prone to these addictions, then don't get them. So leave some comments and whatnot, and subscribe to my channel for more upcoming information on many things. Okay, well, have a good day, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.